This is everything you need to know for the upcoming game Elder Scrolls 6. Bethesda has just announced that Elder Scrolls 6 has left pre-production and that development is now underway. It's still very early days, but the Elder Scrolls 6 is projected to release in early 2026. However though, we also know that Bethesda cannot keep their promise with games. We know that Starfield got extended out for a few months, and we don't know if it's going to come out in early 2026 as they say. But that said, in March 2024, it was revealed as part of the celebration of 30 years of the Elder Scrolls in general that early builds are very much being played internally at Bethesda. In a post outlining 3 decades of the Elder Scrolls, starting in 1994 with Arena, Bethesda said that it has other exciting projects underway, in addition to all of its classic games already. Those projects are something of a rogues gallery. The Elder Scrolls Castle is a mobile game that's in the midst of a game low-key rollout, while Skyrim's new creation community content system has not proven particularly popular with modders. Nevertheless, that doesn't stop Bethesda from pointing swiftly towards the Elder Scrolls 6. 6 years on from that game's reveal at E3 2018, and the studio has reconfirmed that it's still in development on the next chapter, but it's also offered perhaps the first clue as to how that development is actually going. The statement reads that returning to Tamriel and playing early builds has us filled with the same joy, excitement, and promise of adventure, the same it did with Skyrim, Oblivion, Fallout games. It's been a long time since we've got an official word of the Elder Scrolls 6, and that's partially by design. Last year, lead Skyrim designer Bruce Neesmith suggested that we likely wouldn't learn much about the new RPG until shortly before its release. Given that the name actually isn't expected until 2026, and it could well launch later than that, you've probably got a good while to wait. Now, back in 2021, Todd Howard explained in an interview with The Telegraph how Elder Scrolls Bethesda is using the same engine to build both Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6, with work on the next Elder Scrolls expected to lead changes to the engine in order to suit what the upcoming adventures require. Todd Howard said the vast majority of our project developments work is on Starfield right now, but everybody works on everything, so the project kind of intervenes. It's good to think of the Elder Scrolls 6 as still being in a design phase, but we're checking the tech. Is this going to handle the things that we want to do in that game? Every game will have new suits of technology, so Elder Scrolls 6 will have some additions onto Creation Engine 2 that the game is going to require. Now moving on, we can look at the location, and I reckon we're about 99% sure of where the next Elder Scrolls game is going to be located, and it's most likely going to be located at Hammerfell. Why, you might ask? It's because most of the map has already been explored in every other game. Like Oblivion has already been played in Cyrodiil, Skyrim's been played, Morrowind's been played, and High Rock has slightly been played. There's a chance that High Rock and Hammerfell could be joined, which I would love. Now, if you don't know, Hammerfell is the home of the Red Guards. Now moving on to the Elder Scrolls 6 platforms that you can play it on. Now, it's looking more and more likely that the Elder Scrolls 6 will be an Xbox exclusive title, though that has not been confirmed yet. However though, in a document released as part of the FTC Microsoft case, there was information claiming that once the game launches, it will only be on Xbox and PC. So it does look like it's more and more unlikely that the PS5 players won't be seeing the Elder Scrolls 6, but I don't think that's the case. With a lot of games that have been going on exclusive to Xbox or to PlayStation have actually branched out to the other game. Now, we know that PlayStation is a very big audience more to Xbox. So if we're going to be wanting to draw a lot more audience and a lot more players to Elder Scrolls 6, I think they're going to have to release it to PlayStation 5, maybe 6 months later of the release or a year later on. We're not sure yet. But despite this though, Todd Howard has said it's hard to imagine not bringing the Elder Scrolls 6 to multiple platforms. So perhaps there is still glimmer of hope for the Sony fans, as I was saying. Xbox did clarify though during the Jefferies Interactive Entertainment Conference that it will absolutely buy more studios with game first or best on the platform. And that is true, because if this is only going to be an exclusive game for all the PlayStation players that love the Elder Scrolls series is going to buy an Xbox, and they might get caught into that trap because a lot of companies are trying to win over other businesses with their Xbox and PlayStation. And if that does happen, they might release it on PlayStation when you did buy an Xbox 6 months prior, so you can play it earlier. But if you waited 6 months, you could have had a PlayStation still and didn't have to spend that money. So keep that in mind, because these companies do play games with us at times, but we'll have to see exactly what their game plan is going to be. But I personally think that it's going to be released on all platforms, but PlayStation might be waiting maybe a year or 6 months or so. But it's going to be on PC, and that's where all the modding is going to be. And now we're going to move on to the modding on PC. Now this is going to be very, very similar to how it was in Skyrim and Starfield, where you can have your creations. Now at the start of Skyrim, there wasn't any creations an option on the menu. So they might want to put that creation link to maybe down the track where they'll add it into the menu, because they like to have people play the game as it is for a while, then they allow the creations mode to come in so the modders can start taking over the game. And that's where Skyrim has really taken off, and that's where I feel like Elder Scrolls 6 has been this long since it's been announced or been released, because of Skyrim's success. They've had 25 million players play it this year, and that's a game that is almost 10 plus years old, which is incredible to know that is happening. And if they can do the exact same thing for Elder Scrolls 6, that will just be incredible, and we're hoping to play that game for decades. If you have made it this far into the video, make sure to comment down below, have you heard of the High Elves? Now lastly, when are we going to see more Elder Scrolls 6 content? Now this is we don't know anything what's going to happen in the years to come. Now, we obviously, like I said before, know that it's going to be coming out in 2026, as Bethesda says, but we can't trust Bethesda. I will rehearse that in every video that we cannot trust Bethesda. Now, we obviously know that Oblivion, Fallout 4, and Skyrim were shown off in near finished states with relatively small waits leading up to their launches. Oblivion was scheduled for a November 2005 release, and it was delayed to March 2006. And Bethesda is probably priming the Elder Scrolls 6 for a similar sequence. Hines told us in 2016 that the next Elder Scrolls won't be teased along both mark of equality and as palm for the development team to craft the game proper instead of diverting resources for vertical slice. That means the shot of some mountains could be the last we see of the Elder Scrolls 6 until much of the game is actually built. If you're wondering why the Elder Scrolls 6 got announced at E3 when we knew Starfield was coming first, Bethesda's VP of Marketing Pete Hines discussed that this is an interview with the FZ. So it was just conversations with him and folks of my team to say, look, why don't we just consider putting out a little bit more of a roadmap for the studio that explains to folks, here's what we're doing. Yes, we're making this game called Starfield, and here it is. And yes, we're dropping Elder Scrolls 6, but we have those other two games to develop and make first. It's just that folks have a better sense of where the direction is of Bethesda. Now that's going to wrap up everything you need to know for Elder Scrolls 6. You probably already know this information already, but I thought I'd cover it to you guys that haven't heard about this information already. But make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to be covering lore and a lot of detailed videos, and we're going to be going over some speculation videos that will be coming out. But I'm very keen for Elder Scrolls 6. I know it's like maybe 2 years away or a year and a half away, but we're going to cover it a bit. And if you like to go onto my live streams, make sure to follow my Twitch down below. I might be doing some live streams on my YouTube channel, and we'll be playing some Bethesda games. At the moment, I'm doing another playthrough for Skyrim, so if you're down to jump on the streams, come say hello. But appreciate it. But thank you guys for watching the video, and peace.